I guess I'm live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome this morning. It's 9:30 a.m. and I'm live. How do you like them apples? And I've been playing around with the StreamYard, actually digging it quite a bit. I've got a little disclaimer thing down there telling you I'm just some idiot on the internet. You don't listen to me. And yeah, I mean, this is actually getting cool. The StreamYard is it's pretty nifty because there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to be able to show you guys, and I wasn't necessarily able to do that, and so I figured out how to do it. What's up, Alex? 9:40 in the morning, and I am up and at it. I've been awake since 7 o'clock, believe it or not. Clarence Thomas, what's up, man? Always a pleasure to see you. And so I guess I could chat a little bit about some of the stuff going on in the news, and then I'm going to get to some price action and what's happening, because some things are changing a little bit, and it's getting interesting. I'm actually getting a little excited, to be honest. Geez, a bit early. What's up, Slayer fan? Yes, it is a little early. Hi, you are right. What was I right about this time? I'm always right sometimes. $7 to $10 ADA someday. Oak Hearts, what's up? Glad you are. Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of times I upload videos as premieres on YouTube, and everybody thinks I'm live, but because I'm sitting there chatting with everybody. It's a premiere, so those are different. Marianne, good morning. But I'm not actually live. I am live right now. And I really am digging this StreamYard more and more. I mean, it was kind of pricey though. Like, you have to buy it and pay a subscription and stuff. I think I did a year in advance. Oh, your Great Reset video was spot on. Yeah, it's a little creepy, a little scary. Good morning, Jessica Rabbit. So I'll cover some news and stuff, and then we'll just break it up. Any questions that anybody has about really anything, I'll do my best to answer as we kind of go through, and then ultimately we're going to look at the charts and get into some price action. Crow, is the bottom in, or do you expect a further decrease? No, I don't think the bottom is in, and we're definitely going to touch on that, so stick around. Cardano Hoskinson says best to market crypto could help avoid economic collapse. In a Twitter broadcast on Tuesday night, the Cardano founder and Ethereum co-founder warned of a dystopian future. You don't say. Might this have any kind of anything to do with 1984 and what we've been seeing in that? Who would have thought that the book 1984 was going to be like prophecy for 56 years into the future? Brought on by hyperinflation and governments just printing money, the world economy, Hoskinson warned, is not healthy. I mean, Charles is a smart guy, but so far he's just pointing out the obvious here. In the ongoing crypto crash, where total market cap has plummeted 10% in the past 24 hours, according to CoinMarketCap, has shined a light on the divide between institutional investors and retail investors, the latter of whom, in Hoskinson's view, are using crypto to try to opt out of a global system that's unfair. Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, these same people are slowly gaining more and more control over the crypto space as well. So, we'll see how it works out in the end. Institutions have been dumping their crypto. Most are looking at it as a high-risk, high-return asset. Hoskinson said, this was always the danger of inviting the Wall Street types in. Exactly. Because of their financial strategies and rampant inflation, bankers and venture capitalists, Hoskinson continued, have already chosen their fate. They're playing musical chairs with the global economy, which will collapse. It cannot sustain itself. Honestly, I think a lot of what's happening right now is by design. I really do believe that there is a concentrated effort to bring all countries more in line with one another on an economic scale, to adopt a legitimate, like, one world currency, one world, I mean, everything. And I know it freaks a lot of people out, but I honestly think, depending on what the overall purpose is, it could be for the greater good to some degree. I mean, if it stops global wars, if it stops if everybody's able to just work together for the common goal of, furthering mankind, that could be a really good thing. Obviously, with Elon, I think Elon's kind of in on a lot of this stuff, man. I mean, yeah, he's a little bit of a maverick doing things kind of his own way. But I mean, I know he had a jacket at some sort of event, and on the back of the jacket it was hard to see, but I think it said something like Novus Ordo Seclorum or whatever. It's basically the Latin on a dollar bill, and I can't remember what it meant. Something about Ordo ab chaos, order from chaos. I don't remember exactly what it meant, but it had something to do with like a new world order, and it might have been what it meant, new world order. I don't remember, but like he was either trolling or he's basically saying, listen, I'm here. I'm with it. But I don't know. But I do believe that a lot of what's going on is definitely by design. And I just haven't really quite figured out why things are happening the way they are. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Hoskinson advocated for a measure twice, cut once philosophy and suggested that others did not because they were chasing the gains for their venture capitalist masters. Another possible reference to Quan's plummeting Luna and algorithmic stablecoin UST. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like he's right. He's right across the board. So, we'll see. 138 of you guys on there. Well, it still is early. I know that technically the best time for me to do anything live or on YouTube or whatever is like 11 o'clock. So, but I'm up here, I'm working, I'm reading. I'm like, let's just go live. It's early in the morning. Who said I can't go live twice in a day? Maybe, who knows? We will tame Bitcoin. Yeah. Leo said that when they were basically launching like the options market for crypto in like the CME or whatever. I remember. Big fan Crow. Thank you for amazing insist. What are your thoughts on Ergo? I don't really have many thoughts on Ergo yet. I know that there are a lot of guys out there who, they want to pretend to know every nuance of all 20,000 cryptos on the market. I don't pretend to do that. I don't want to mislead anyone. I'm not here to try and sound like the biggest guru there is. I know what I know, and that's it. And there are so many cryptocurrencies out there, folks. There's no way any one person can really keep tabs on everything. It's just not possible. I keep tabs on what I'm into. And that's pretty much it. I just don't I don't have the time to keep up on every single thing. So if I don't know, I'm just going to tell you I don't know. I'm not trying to sound like a Mr. Wizard over here. Anybody remember that show, Mr. Wizard? I used to love that show when I was a kid. Ada can't escape Bitcoin's gravitational pull. I thought Ada is revolutionizing everything. Laughing, crying. Oh, Z Zumble Pie. How little you obviously know. Cardano's not even finished, man. Notice in the article I just read where Charles basically talks about measuring twice, cutting once. Takes a while to do that. To try and build perfection from the ground up, and something that's highly usable, scalable, interoperable, and everything else associated with Cardano, you can't do it overnight like every other shitcoin that you're used to on the market. It just doesn't work that way. So it is what it is, man. I mean, if you don't like Cardano, you don't like Cardano, that's fine. I'm guessing you're what, a Solana fan? How's that working out? But it is what it is. I'm just teasing. I like crypto. I'm invested. Let's see. I like crypto. I'm invested, but I do see it being a Trojan horse catalyst to technocracy. Ooh, fringe recall. Boy, you might have just hit the nail on the head because I've said that many times in the past. I believe something similar. I mean, if you think about it, when you take cryptocurrency and you think about how it all began, right? I did a video a long time ago about the original Bitcoin. It wasn't called Bitcoin then. And it wasn't the SHA-256 algorithm. It was like half of that. And it was legitimately a government project. Like it was, I think it was the NSA or something like that launched it. And then they launched something called a Clipper chip, which was basically like a hardware key that would enable people to get backdoor access to this digital money blockchain. And once that came out and everybody realized that it wasn't that secure and that somebody had backdoor access and this and that, it just went away. And then it was like 20 years later, Bitcoin comes out by an anonymous person, Satoshi Nakamoto, and writes this brilliant white paper about digital cash and how it's going to change the world. And to this day, there's still nobody that knows who Satoshi is. And I believe it's likely a group somewhere within like the NSA. I mean, and like just the way everything has come to fruition since then. I mean, what better way to get the mass adoption of and I will say this too, to have the foresight back then, even in the 80s, to have the foresight of needing or wanting some sort of digital cash system, or a digital cashless system, I should say, it's pretty brilliant. I mean, it's forethought, for sure. But yeah, I think we're absolutely wholeheartedly heading into a technocracy. And for those of you that don't know what a technocracy even is, basically a technocracy is ultimately when, instead of elected officials, you have your elected president, your governors, your senators, all these people who are elected, all that goes out the window. The public no longer trusts, electing anyone. Democracy overall doesn't work. Nobody trusts it. Nobody trusts voting. Nobody trusts any of that. And a technocracy is basically like, from what I understand, like the truest form of a technocracy is Singapore. Like Singapore, China is ultimately like the truest form of technocracy. Whereas like Sweden has the truest form of democracy, right? And there are pros and cons to either system. A bit of a blend of the two would be fantastic, but ultimately, it's technocracy could either be really good or really bad, but ultimately it's basically a panel of experts. Like who would our technocracy be made up of? It would probably be Bill Gates, Elon Musk, maybe Elon, I'm sure. Basically, they take the greatest minds in specific fields of interest, like economy, agriculture, all everything, right? Finance, whatever. And they bring them all together and they make all the decisions for everyone. And that's it. There's no voting. There's no nothing. Everybody just basically follows suit with whatever these people decide is in the best interest of the people, the country, the world, the whatever. And that's ultimately what a technocracy boils down to. And when I look at these these newly appointed positions within our current administration, like truth czars and disinformation ministers and like whatever. I mean, it all sounds so blatantly in 1984. It's so scary. I mean, and it is what it is. I don't really see any of this stuff changing or backtracking. I think away we go. And, and I think anybody that has basically played the opposition to any of this has obviously been dealt with in one way or another. So, they get these people out of office to stop, blocking the overall agenda that's ultimately a global thing. This isn't just like the U.S. Obviously, as we've seen, there are other countries that are far more tyrannical about a lot of this stuff than even the United States is. So, but that's ultimately what a technocracy is. And yeah, I do believe that that's very likely where we're heading. And I think ultimately the financial system for the technocracy is going to be the CBDC. I think CBDC is going to be what I believe the new world currency, the one world currency. If you think about it this way, look at all of the countries all over the world. Look, this right here. I forgot I even had this up. Leaked report, South Korea to establish crypto framework by 2024. The effort will include issuing guidance for NFTs and ICOs, expanding infrastructure, and supporting CBDC research. What was once just a novel idea and kind of a rumor is now becoming global news and a global effort. Look up Italy CBDC, 30 million people. I mean, there's a whole breakdown of like how they're bringing the CBDC token and digital IDs to like 30 million people that need government assistance in Italy. This is going to like blanket the world, and it may sound like really, really scary, but it's coming, it's happening. And there really isn't anything anybody's going to do to change it at this point. I really just don't think so. The only thing I kind of think is you just try to make the best of it. And, the fact that you're watching this right now, you at least have enough interest in preparing for what may very likely be happening and being able to get into a lot of it, or at least take the technology from its infancy. Ultimately, buying crypto right now, especially with these market cycles the way they are, you're basically getting a rinse repeat market cycle that's enabling you to buy into a bottom, sell at a top, rinse and repeat ad nauseum until the CBDCs, the regulation, all of the stuff, other stuff comes to fruition. So you can basically enhance your overall life significantly right now, while we're preparing for these very drastic changes. And the people that choose not to read, not to learn, not to put in the work, I see so many people arguing online. They're arguing headlines in the news. They never actually read any of these articles. They just take the headlines and they argue these as gospel. Those are the people that are going to be struggling the most. And those are also going to be the people who, are adopting certain things at face value while they're encouraging everyone else in the world to do the same thing, because misery loves company. A lot of these people, they don't really have a clue what they're talking about. They just regurgitate whatever comes out of their echo chambers. And so they're not free thinking. They're not free willed. They're very much like, control me. They're like little, submissives. They're little subs, like, tie me up, do bad things to me. I'll love it, and I'll bring my friends. And it's like, they're clueless. They just kind of, regurgitate whatever the narrative is at the time. And it seems to change with the weather. And they don't have any problem with that. I mean, as long as they feel like they're doing some kind of virtuous good, they really just don't care. So, I used to have a lot of big arguments about a lot of this stuff with an old friend. And brilliant guy, super smart guy, but very, 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 very brainwashed. Like you can't argue anything. You can show him facts all day. He just blows them off or tries to discredit them. And, I sent him the link. I'm like, hey, you're going to watch 2000 Mules? And he ignored it. And I sent him a direct link to the movie on Rumble, and he sees it, but he's not responding. These people do not want to have their narrative cracked, like with facts. Like facts are just another level of pain for these people. I mean, it really is. I mean, ignorance is a choice, and when you choose to remain ignorant, I don't know. Be ignorant all you want. Just don't have a really loud vocal opinion trying to sway everyone else to believe the bullshit that you do because you're too lazy to look. That's the way I look at it. But anyway, did I just ramble a little bit about I guess I did. It is what it is. The CBDC is coming. I mean, South Korea, they're by 2024. And if you think about it, a lot of the infrastructure that's being put in place, everything is an effort to prepare for 2025, because 2025 is going to be when the new bull cycle really starts to kick off. So I guarantee you, between now and then, we're going to see substantial regulations in the U.S. We're going to see a lot of things that we've been waiting on. And I'm sure it's all going to come before the peak of this next market, likely before the very beginning. If the next halving is 2024, then we'll have a little time before the next peak. I think the next peak will likely be, 2025 into 2026. Germany, no taxes for selling Bitcoin and Ethereum if held for over a year. The German Ministry of Finance has made certain amendments to its cryptocurrency policies to authorities. The authorities disclosed that the sale of acquired Bitcoin and Ether won't be taxed if individuals hold the assets for more than 1 year. So, a lot of people that hear like crow your coins. You see it all over the place. For all of you, hashtag you're new. That's basically just, holding your crypto for at least a year, if at all possible, and reducing your capital gains tax in the US. The longer you hold an investment asset, the lower your capital gains tax when you finally decide to sell it. And so that's what Crow Your Coins is all about. A lot of people, and it's even in the Urban Dictionary now. So a lot of people think, Crow, your coins means hold it forever. Don't take profit. Don't benefit yourself. Like, what's the point of owning something if you don't actually benefit from it? Like, we've got to use some sense. Some people, like I point out, some people get super, super mad because I sold assets, at, not the peak of the market, but, closer to the top than not. And, people try to create their own narratives around that, but it's all garbage. I mean, the reality is you want to hold for, I've been accumulating since 2017, and I'm going to rinse and repeat for the next cycle. That's just kind of how it is. So anyway, Germany's Ministry of Finance published a letter focused on the income tax treatment of digital assets such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. After collaborating with the highest tax authorities of the federal states, the lawmakers decided to make the sale of Bitcoin and Ethereum tax-free if those assets were held over 12 months. The policy will apply even if the cryptocurrencies have been employed for staking or lending. Why can't everybody do this? Why does the United States have to be so goddamn greedy about everything? Like, why is it that in the U.S., I feel like the public is constantly being bled while we're leaving $80 billion worth of weapons in the hands of opposing countries? We're giving tens of billions of dollars to other places all over the world. We're giving all of our taxpayer money away to like other countries. There's so much to that I would love to rant about here, but I just can't. I can't. Follow me on Rumble. One of these days, I'm just going to go rip roaring crazy on Rumble, and it is what it is because I have so many thoughts. But yeah, I'm so tired of just having our tax dollars. We're just being bled as a society from taxes and more taxes and added taxes. I mean, somebody did a site, and I've always wondered this, so I was looking it up one day. Like, what is the actual tax cycle? How much of a dollar bill is taxed by the time it's circulated through everything? And it's like 70 something percent of a dollar is taxed. It goes back to the government from sales tax, income tax, capital gains tax, property tax, this and that. I mean, it's just, by the time $1 is circulated, 70 something percent has gone back to the government. And then that's handed off to God knows who for God knows what. And it's just disgusting. Elon Musk is being investigated by 2 separate agencies over Twitter acquisition. I mean, this man and like the United States Securities and Exchange Commission and Federal Trade Commission, FTC, are investigating Elon Musk over his stake in Twitter. Basically, this whole article is all about Elon Musk didn't announce in proper format, apparently, that he was looking to acquire more shares in Twitter after his initial purchase. And they're saying, well, that could be a real problem and that could be illegal. Everyone in the world knew it, apparently. Everybody was talking about it just before it even happened. But apparently they didn't know. They didn't know. You have to file the actual documents. You can't just give them a call and be like, hey, I'm doing this. You have to have the proper forms or, I wonder, would this actually be happening if he wasn't like, yeah, I'm probably going to let Trump back. Yeah, I'm going to let everybody back. Like, I want this to be a bastion of free speech, not an echo chamber for the left. That's what I want. Like, if he were towing the line, like, would they be doing this? That's the question I have. Like, really? I don't know if anything's going to come of this. Elon Musk has had some run-ins with the SEC and other groups in the past, and he's very vocal about it. Like, the guy seems to fear nothing, and more power to him, but it's a little scary. So I'm going to go through real quick, and I'm going to check comments, see if there's any answers, anything I can help with, and then we're going to get into some price action, and I'm going to explain how I think things are changing a little bit. Crow, in your opinion, is there a risk that the same could happen with ADA as with Luna, because JED is also an algorithmic stable coin with no fiat reserves? I don't know. I really don't know. I am going to be diving in. I'm going to make a note. I'm going to start diving in and learn everything I can about JED. I think in the grand scheme of things, though, Luna's not Cardano, for one. And there are drastic differences in Luna as a blockchain and Cardano. Could the same thing happen? I don't know, because I don't know 100% everything there is to know about what happened with Luna. So I'm going to have to really dive into that. But ultimately, no, I don't feel like I'm not worried about it. I can tell you that there are going to be so many projects built, and there already are. There's so much on Cardano already. One project failing or doing bad doesn't necessarily mean branding the entire blockchain. It's not necessarily, I think, the issue with the UST. I think it's how it was handled, and everything that transpired is a way to try and prevent it, take care of it, get rid of it, whatever. I think there's a lot more to Luna than just, a stable token on Cardano failed, got screwed up. It was more, there's so much more to that I'm pretty aware. And I don't see Charles running around rampant trying to figure out how to, do a bunch of stuff with I'm not overly concerned. I don't think so. Who paid Satoshi Nakamoto to make Bitcoin? Guarantee he them didn't do it for free. I guarantee it's a them. I think it's a group, and it's not just one person. And of course, they have 1 million Bitcoin stashed away somewhere that'll probably worth, $100 trillion someday in the future. Who knows? So, like it is now with the illusion of choice. Exactly. Yeah. So we're going back to the whole technocracy thing. I mean, to me, democracy is an illusion of choice for sure. I will say, though, here's one thing. Let's just say that everything in 2000 Mules is real. Okay. Let's just assume that all happened, right? And the election was influenced. All right. In some ways, that did give me actually a little more faith in the democratic system in the US. Because if a group is going to such extreme lengths to benefit an election, then that tells me that there's either been much less of that prior to that point in time, or it was never, or none of us just knew about it. Like none of us understood that was a regular thing that happens in most elections. And maybe Trump was the first to point it out in a very broad, fearless, public way, which is obviously one of the things that the opposing groups do not like. So I don't know. I mean, I've always said that, politics was one big play for the public to give the illusion of choice. That's in my Facebook bio from like 2000 or something. So I've always felt that way. But, what it means moving forward, now that a lot of that has come to light, will the same things be abused, or will they just get really good at it? Typically, if you talk to like a narcissistic sociopath, they don't get better as people. They just get better at hiding like who they are inside, right? And so they just get better at putting up that front and hiding some of their issues and things until it's too late and they've already got you by the throat. Like it's like, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see here. So much corruption. Yes, there really is. I mean, politics anymore is really nothing more than a challenge. It's a contest. It's a game to these people. It's a game to accumulate power over your opposers, and that's really all it's really about. So, all right, this won't happen to ADA. ADA uses Cody, so it would be a Cody issue, not an ADA issue. ADA is fine, but the whole markets are down. Give it time. Yeah, I agree. You guys looking at APYs of over 20% and think, oh, I need to get in. For reference, Madoff offered 10%. Every time retail investors think they get free money, you can be sure it will end badly. Yeah, that's probably true. All right, so I guess I caught up on questions. Crow, you should read Built to Fail, The Inherent Fragility of Algorithmic Stablecoins from Wake Forest Law Review. All right. I will check that out, Crypto Tommy. Good note. Built to Fail. I'm always down to do some bathtub reading and provide some better insight on things. Most of us are against war, but they just steal our money through taxes. Well, the thing of it is inflation is a tax. I mean, whether you realize it or not, a lot of people, they say all kinds of stuff. And, inflation is attacked. Clarence Thomas with a $20 tip. Thank you, sir. I actually thought that icon was a Pokemon ball for a minute in black and white, but it looks like it's not. Love you too, man. Always glad to see you in chat. There's so much scary stuff. I can't wait to really start cranking it out on Rumble. I'm just kind of building on Rumble, building. All right. So we're going to look at some charts here, because what's happening right now actually has me excited, and I may be a little off on my original prediction as to where the price might be going, because the market's moving much faster than I had originally anticipated. From where we are right now, we are currently at about $28,000. Currently at $28,219 at Bitcoin. And I've been saying once Bitcoin hits around 28 grand, I'm going to start looking for an opportunity to buy back in, but we're not there yet. We wicked all the way down here to about 25,000. This is what I expected to happen somewhere maybe in June. Not already, not this fast. As you can see, we've got, from the current price, we still have 23% to go if Bitcoin were to just come all the way down and touch that 200 weekly moving average. So right now, if it were to happen this week, we would have to move down another 23% this week and close basically at around 22 grand. In that instance, I would think, okay, well, Bitcoin may very well be at a bottom. We may have just bottomed already. And I was thinking to myself, okay, so if that were the case, how long does it typically take from a market peak, to comfortably say we've bottomed? Has there been enough time? If we look at if we look at it from peak to peak, so if we look at things from the November peak, we're at about 182 days. If we look at it from the first peak in April, we're at about 392 days. The last market peak from the peak to the bottom was 371 days. So if we're trying to say, all right, well, how long has it been? Has there been enough time? Have we had enough time to shake out? Ooh, excuse me. I think I shook the whole house. Ogre sneeze. How have we had enough time to reach an actual bottom? Yeah, I think we have. Because at first I was thinking, wow, it's too soon. Like, this can't be a legitimate bottom opportunity. It's too soon. But if we're basing it off of the first peak of the market, yeah, there's been enough time, technically. So if we were to touch down here, I would say, yeah, it may very well be, it might be a bottom. That might be a bottom. And like I said, from that bottom, we might just channel through until we get closer to the halving, and then we might touch that 200 weekly moving average again, which has happened in the past. We've touched it twice in a bear market, and then we start moving up from there. What I'm seeing in a lot of countries and with the regulators and with everybody, I'm seeing everybody preparing for 2025. I think people are starting to get real privy to the idea of these Bitcoin market cycles, the halving cycle, what that means to the crypto market as a whole. And I think a lot of people are starting to plan around that now. So what does this mean for Cardano's price? Well, generally speaking, Cardano has fallen. If we look at the same time frame, so if we look at this time period here, this is towards the end of March, right? This is Bitcoin. And then we go to Cardano in the same time frame. Cardano has fallen 20% faster than Bitcoin in the same time periods. So if Bitcoin is expected to drop maybe another 23% before we bottom out on that 200 weekly moving average, it's very likely Cardano will drop that much more. And like I've said in the past, I expect Cardano's bottom price to be somewhere around 25 cents. I would love to see 10. Oh my gosh, if it dropped to 10 cents, even if it wicked to 10 cents. So if I were a betting man and we started getting closer to that 30-cent price, and it's I might set up a market limit purchase order somewhere around 25 cents and see if it fills, and then watch that on an hourly chart. And then if it doesn't, if we don't quite reach it, then I might just start buying in at 26, 27 cents if I have to. And that'll be my accumulation point from there. And then if we continue to drop, or we get another dip for whatever reason, because something in the market pushes it down, or we wick below it on a daily candle, but we don't close there, which is what I'm saying. Like if we get to like 25 cents or we get to 30 cents, we might get a wick below, who knows? We might get a wick under 25 cents, but I'm not convinced at this point, based off of the current price action, that we would close below it and stay there for any length of time. But I could be wrong. But, in the grand scheme of things, if I'm able to accumulate Cardano again at 25 cents or even around 25 cents, and it goes think about it. The bottom of the last bear cycle was 2 freaking pennies. It went from 2 cents to 3.14. You're talking about a $3 12-cent profit for every 2 cents invested. So even if we were to look at the same ratio, and that's the thing, while it does fall faster than Bitcoin in price action, it typically also grows faster as well. So yeah, I'm looking. Bitcoin's bottoms, in my opinion, it's going to be somewhere around the $20,000 range. I thought it might be 28, but it might actually end up being a little lower than that. So yeah, can you kindly give your prediction for ADA in 2025, 2026? Honestly, I'm going to hold true to my $8 prediction, because I know I predicted $8 for this last market cycle. We only got to 314. It's no secret. The market was different. Things happened. Everything's different about the market this time. But I honestly think the regulation in the space is going to get rid of a lot of shit as we go head into the next peak. There's going to be less crap that are going to be pulling people's money in. And I think the cream is going to rise to the top. I think that Cardano is going to likely complete pretty much all of its primary milestones with Hydra and all of the interoperability protocols, Plutus, all of this stuff. You've got it. We're going to have a couple stable tokens, and we're going to have all kinds of stuff. Cardano is going to be set, prime, and ready to own and dominate the market, in my opinion, in the 2025 peak. That's what I absolutely wholeheartedly believe. Doesn't mean I can't be wrong. I'm always right sometimes. Okay, I'm always right sometimes. But yeah, Cardano is going to make a lot more millionaires in 2025 than it did last year. That's what I think. I think that the number of you guys that are out there, hey, and let me tell you something. When you guys do make like $1 million or $2 million, how about, I don't know, send me some NFTs or something, I don't know. How about who's gonna buy me a Lambo? I'm still waiting for that. Who made like $15 million or something like that, wants to just like have a Lambo delivered? Better yet, a Bentley. Like, I would love for one of my viewers to send me a nice big long Bentley. I'm kidding. But yeah, people are gonna make so much money in this next peak. Unless somebody really shuts it down somehow. Yeah. All right, let's see. Abscon 2 tip $50. Well, thank you, man. That's really cool. Super sticker. I'm not sure what a super sticker is. Are you not afraid of a pump and dump because of the coming Cardano hard fork? No. There's one of the big things that a lot of people complain about is Cardano's supply. But while that makes it more difficult for the price to move up really fast overnight, it also makes it more difficult for it to become a pump and dump token. It's just really difficult to move the price. Some people hate it. I personally love it because you typically have more time to move. You've got the volume. The volume is there. So you can get in and out of positions very, very easily. The liquidity is solid in Cardano, but you can't really move the price. You're not going to like bump it up $1 or up or down $1 overnight, super easy. I see too much bear euphoria. People calling way too low price targets for Bitcoin. Just the same like people were calling a 200. Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're in the $20,000 mark now, man. Like so far, everything that I've expected, I'm seeing. So, got to disagree on that. It's not a Bentley, but it's a start. Yeah, very true. Thank you. That's very cool. Board 8. What's up, Robert? The satisfaction of knowing you helped someone should be enough of a reward. You are absolutely right. I'm just kidding. I don't want anybody to send me shit. I'm totally kidding. I wouldn't fit in a Lambo anyway. I know BitBoy got one, and then there's actually somebody I know in Kentucky who got one, and I swear the car is smaller than my shoes. Lambos look big, but they're tiny. They're for like Lamborghinis are for 5'4" billionaires, not 7-foot giants. So yeah, it's funny. Is it stupid buying Luna at these crazy prices or a good? I don't think Luna's ever going to. Once bit, twice shy, man. Like if you think that Luna's going to go back up to, $85 or something someday, and they're going to somehow rebuild the faith in their whole ecosystem, yeah, good luck with that. There's too much competition. There's too much stuff. It's almost like an Olympic athlete, right? They're winning gold, and then you find out they've been doing steroids like forever, and they're just cheating the system, and this goes wrong and that goes. It doesn't matter if they won gold 15 times clean 5 years later, nobody's going to give a shit. That's just how it is. You've got one shot. You only get one shot. I don't even know that song, the Eminem song, but I'm getting ready to be one of those millionaires. I blew the last chance, but I still have ADA that I bought at 8 cents. I won't close it in this cycle. Gulf Coast Granny in the house. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You bought it at 8 cents. You're still a profit. I mean, you're still doing pretty well, but yeah, it's hard to sell at this price, especially so close to a bottom. It's like, what do? Especially at this price, you kind of have to say, all right, let's say Cardano's going to drop another 20. Let's say it even dropped another 30%, but temporarily. And you don't know exactly when to buy in or get out or trade it or whatever, how to profit from it. What do? Well, you delegate it. I would delegate it. That's, again, not financial advice. Do what you want. Don't listen to me. I'm just some idiot on the YouTubes or the interwebs because I'm on like a bunch of different stuff right now. But yeah, you delegate it and you accrue more. You accumulate more passively over time because let's say depending on your yield and depending on what node you're on, and depending on how much you own, you can really crank out some Cardano over time. You're basically just minting new Cardano for free as a passive reward for delegating the node and supporting the ecosystem and the security of the blockchain and everything else. And so, yeah, you stand to generate a pretty good sum of cash over time. And so, let's say you generate an extra 1,000 ADA, over the course of a few weeks or a few months or whatever, and then you're continuing to accumulate over time. I mean, that's like compound interest, man. I mean, because that when you're staking to a node, that compound interest, let's say you got 100 new ADA every epoch. Well, that 100 ADA is now joining the original ADA, improving your performance on the node, improving the amount of ADA you're accumulating from there. And it just accumulates and accumulates and accumulates. So even if you hadn't sold and you're still holding it, you're accumulating more ADA without it costing you a penny all the way through the bear cycle. So if you're accumulating for the next 2 years, calculate what you're doing plus 5% over the course of 2 years, and you have an idea as to what you're going to end up with by the beginning and potentially the end of the next bear or the next bull cycle. How much do you think you're going to make then? So yeah, this late in the game, it doesn't make much sense for me. Like if I were still holding it, I wouldn't be looking to sell it. I'd be looking to like accumulate more, and if anything, average down depending on the price I originally got it at. But that's just me. Don't do me. A record high for the number of people live. There was like 360 people live. I've been live 45 minutes. Hopefully you guys are getting a kick out of it. We're having some fun. I'm really glad to see the numbers going up. Maybe if I do this consistently every day, we'll get back to 2,000 and YouTube will kick me off again. Crow, I don't understand what you said. You expected a bottom of 28,000, but on the other hand, you expect a touch of the 200 weekly that is around 20 grand. Right. So the point I was making is I didn't expect the market to plummet this quickly. I figured we would probably bottom out somewhere, in like maybe July of 2022. Like I didn't expect it to just basically fall like a knife all the way down into like the $20,000 zone already. So yeah, you're right. It is a little confusing, but at this point, okay. When you're talking about the 200 weekly moving average, this is basically an average of the price action that ultimately continues to move sideways, right? And as you can see, the trajectory since May of 2020 has been pretty steadily up. So let's just get rid of all of this. Hopefully you guys can at least see it a little bit. I know it's not super big on this screen, and I don't know how way to make it bigger, but maybe we can zoom in this way. Yeah, that makes it a little easier for you guys to see. But yeah, this is a weekly candle. These are weekly candles right here. And so this is the 200 weekly moving average. So we've got we've got a lot of time left before we touch on this. But if this were to continue moving up with the same consistency, I mean, you're talking, it doesn't even hit 28,000 until December. Okay. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. This would have to like shoot up, or the price would have to shoot down. And the thing of it is I don't really think we're going to continue in this hardcore downward pattern falling like a knife. I mean, we've already wicked down to like 25,000 and we're pulling back up on a weekly candle. This is exactly the kind of thing I expect to see once we actually hit the 200 weekly. I just don't expect it like this week or next. I think we're going to have some green candle. I'd like to see a green candle in the next weekly candle, and then maybe go sideways for a little bit before we finally touch down. There's going to be some time. I'm expecting to see some time. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. Hopefully that makes sense and answers your question. We are all future millionaires. I truly hope so. Goon Squad. Hypothetically, if this is the bottom, when would you capitulate back into? Do you capitulate back into something? I think you capitulate out of it. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to be watching. I might even set up a limit order to like buy back in a certain amount. If Cardano hits 30 cents, I might set a limit order to buy back in at like 23 and just see what happens. We might wick down that low before it settles on a price somewhere around 25 cents. If that's what happens, then I just buy back in at 25 cents. If we don't wick down, maybe I just start averaging in a little every day over the course of, a few weeks. It all depends on your end goal and how much you believe in the project and how much you think, what do you think is going to happen? What did the Pi cycle top indicator show this time? It showed the peak of the market on April 13th. That's what it did. The Pi cycle top indicator was dead on. The only thing that it didn't do is show the second top. So you kind of had to figure that out on your own. But it called it to the day. Gulf Coast Granny. Thanks, Crow. Always enjoy your show and insight. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad it's helping you. I really am. Do you have insights in how to take some losses for tax purpose and reinvest after? Well, in order to offset capital gains, you have to suffer capital losses, is the way it was explained to me by my accountant. And he's like, you're shit out of luck. So, let's say Bitcoin's price is 30,000. You expect it to fall 25,000 before the end of the year. You can potentially buy Bitcoin at 30,000. Now, you have to talk to your accountant about this. I think I personally think this is kind of wrong. But I'm pretty sure people are known to like buy Bitcoin at 30 grand, sell it at 25, take that loss, buy right back in at 25, and then, ride it out from there. So they are technically showing a capital loss. But I don't really have interest in playing those games, man. Are you worried about other stable coins tanking? Not really. I'm not overly concerned about other stable coins. I mean, I don't sit around looking at stable coins. This is not fun to me. Stable coins are going to like iron themselves out over time, and may the cream rise to the top, but I don't really concern myself with stable coins too much. So yeah, ADA 25 cents. I would love to see 10, but I don't think it's going to happen. At 10 cents, I could pretty much buy. At 10 cents, you get like a million Cardano for 100 grand. And then if it goes up to, even if it were to just go back to $3, it's $3 million off 100 grand. You think that's okay? You think you're doing okay there? I say so. And if it goes to like $5, $6, $7, $8, let's all buy a big island together and start our own country. How about that? That would be fun. Crow, were you able to avoid federal taxes when you lived in PR? No. I'm getting absolutely no tax benefit for moving to Puerto Rico because I left before completing and doing everything else I needed to do. The only offset to that is that the house I bought while in Puerto Rico, I'm expecting to make a decent profit on because it's being remodeled and things right now. And so the profit that I make on that house will likely basically offset the taxes that I'll have to pay anyway. So, it is what it is. I'm going to have to pay taxes. I'm going to have a tax bill. I'm not getting out of anything. And like I say all the time, man, to me, it wasn't worth it. I know that a lot of people love it in Dorado and people love, listen, if somebody is like an international businessman or there's somebody that travels a lot, Puerto Rico is perfect for you. It's perfect. I'm a homebody. I don't go anywhere. So if the power goes out, I'm screwed. If, like whatever happens, I'm there dealing with it. Like there's no, I'm going to be over here in Puerto Rico for a month and then I'm going to fly out to Austria and I'm going to fly to France and then I'm going to go back to Puerto Rico for a month. And as long as I'm there for 6 months out of the year, I'm good. And you get your tax benefits and this and that. That's not how I live my life. That's like a billionaire lifestyle. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not even anywhere close to, I'm not super rich or anything. It is what it is. So yeah, I don't have that lifestyle. So it's not worth it for me personally, but for other people, very, very, very worth it. I'm pretty sure Peter Schiff lives in Puerto Rico among many others. So great show, Crow. Always a fan. Thank you, Robert. I'm glad. Hopefully everybody learns and has a good time. Governments are experts on extracting money from their citizens and subjects. Yes, that's very, very true. What are you planning to buy? Hashtag you're new. Is this your first Crow video? Come on. I'm waiting to buy back into ADA, of course. There might be some other things I dip my toe in a little bit here and there, but ultimately it's all about ADA for me. That's it. So 53 minutes in. Hopefully this was educational, informative, and fun for everybody. It is 10:30 in the AM. I've been live about an hour. I'm going to head off and get back to other work. And thanks for joining me. Hopefully this gets your day started with a little bit of insight and a little bit of let's go get them, Tiger. Until next time, guys, grow your coins. I'll see you again real soon.